Francisco Franco by Jared, Ben, Mitch, and Nico. Francisco Franco was born in 1892 in El Faro, Spain, a small city that is right near the ocean. He had many siblings, such as 2 sisters and 2 brothers. One of his brothers had served in the army as a Spanish pioneer, and his other brother was a politician. Since his family had served in the Navy, that was a big part of his childhood. He then completed his primary education at a Catholic school, then went to the Infantry Academy at Toledo, where he became a soldier. Later on, he was named second in command of the Spanish Foreign Legion and led that for 3 years. Eventually after, he became a general in 1926, making him the youngest man in Europe to hold that post.
Francisco Franco ruled Spain from 1939 until his death as a military dictator. He led nationalistic forces during the bloody Spanish Civil War and was very successful. He had the help of Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy. He exerted absolute control over the country. During his rule, he executed and imprisoned tens of thousands of people. His rule was brutal and harsh because of his ruthlessness. He was supported by Mussolini and Hitler. During the Spanish Civil War, he defeated the democratically elected Second Republic after a long, bloody war. After the end of the war, however, he estimated around 500,000 deaths from his leadership during the Civil War. He was brutal.
Francisco Franco took control of Spain, however he began to relax his control. He started by removing some restraints from censorship. This instituted economic reforms. Francisco Franco also helped to promote international tourism. He then named Prince Juan Carlos his successor. However, 2 days after Francisco had passed, Juan Carlos set about dismantling Spain's authoritarian apparatus and reintroduced political parties. In June 1977, the first elections were held since 1936. Spain has been a democracy ever since. Francisco Franco is a very successful dictator.
Wait, was it even recording?
Franco persecuted political opponents, repressed the culture and the language of Spain's Basque and Catalan religions, and censored the media and otherwise exerted absolute control over the country. Some of these restrictions gradually eased as Franco got older, and upon his death, the country transitioned to democracy. He joined the 1936 military uprising that led to the Spanish Civil War and assumed leadership to the fascist phalanges. In 1939, with the aid of Nazi Germany and Fascist Italy, he won the war and became Spain's dictator. Francisco Franco was a monarchist, and his main goal was to protect the country from anti-Spain forces, such as political parties and parliamentary democracy. Franco's overall goal was to maintain power at all costs and to ensure his self-appointed role as a protector. His regime was marked by mass executions, banning labor unions, and taking political prisoners, and upon political parties' language other than Spanish religions and then Catholicism.
Francisco Franco adopted the title El Caudillo, which means the leader. Franco persecuted political opponents and repressed the culture and language of Spain's regions. He showed Spain absolute control as a dictator.